It is 6 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum, with the absence of Mr. Smith. If you all will please stand, we'll have the invocation by Pastor Ron Phillips. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. First of all, on behalf of Ivanhoe and the Baker's Chapel Pentecostal Holiness Church, thank you for allowing me to come and be here. I can tell I'm the new kid on the block. Everyone's trying to figure out who I was, and so y'all pretty tight community, I can tell by the way everyone acts here. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for this nation. We thank you, Lord, for democracy. We thank you, Lord, for the meeting that will be held here tonight. We thank you, Lord, for the men and women who make up the Board of Supervisors for this county. We thank you, Lord, for the participation of the community, Lord, that's here tonight. It is my prayer that, Father God, that as we go about the business at hand, that we respectively look at each other's individualism, and Lord God, that every decision that is made would be made for the betterment of our communities. Lord, have your hand upon each and every one of us. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on our agenda is citizens' time. You don't need to say your address, we have that. First one we have is Andy Kegley.
Good evening. Last week was Earth Day, and a bunch of us gathered on Main Street, as we did a little while ago today. A lot of people honked, and we handed out yard signs to passersby. Our waters would like a word today. With you seven, and with the plant managers of Pepsi, Gatorade, Amcor, with the public water departments, you all decreed a fire ban because of the ongoing drought recently. But the problem's a whole lot worse than that, the risk of fire. My farm is upstream from the town on the headwaters of Meadow Run, which when it flows is a tributary to Reed Creek. Today there is no water leaving the farm, nothing going into Meadow Run, and a decreased amount into Reed Creek. Observers downstream report that the ledges are revealed in Reed and the New River, which aren't normally seen until the heat of the summer in August. A well driller here in Wythe told me last week that from recent well pumps he's replaced, the water table is down 60 feet. 60 feet. 3 ponds on my farm are nothing but parched, cracked dirt with catfish carcasses strewn about. Decisions you seven make have a large impact on the future of our water table, and in turn, on the livelihood of many of us. My cows, the number of bottles of Gatorade and Pepsi shipped daily, for example. The 2040 Comprehensive Plan says the combined water capacity of the town and the New River Regional Water Authority is something like 6 million gallons per day, with on-paper room for significant expansion. Blue Star, if or when it ever gets built, is to suck some 6 million gallons per day from the New River, according to a resolution passed in January 22, seeking additional funding to expand the intake from New River. So maybe it was a good thing Blue Star didn't get built, both because that water is now reallocated to some other project, and the wastewater treatment of its toxic soup residue is a dodged bullet. On the other hand, there would have been 2,400 new jobs created, which isn't something we can say about soulless arcs. My point here is that the math isn't mathing when it comes to water, which is as scarce a resource as our good soils. Rains will return someday, I hope, but to restore the water table, our ponds, the river, will take something of a biblical refuge. Hurricane Helene breezed through 18 months ago, and look at the damage and the remnants of that storm today. Those 9 inches that fell here, along with another 9 inches in February of 25, are long gone. So far this year, we've had about 7 inches of rain over 4 months. That's a pace for 21 inches for the year. That's half of our average annual rainfall. So please take steps to think about the long-term about your impacts. And a good place to start is rescinding your vote to welcome data centers to Wythe County. Thank you.
Next, we have Stacy, is it Beamer?
Good evening. Every night I watch the local and the nightly news, and every single night, there are featured stories of AI data centers, including both broadcasts. And guess what? Not one single story has been a positive story. In the first time that I spoke, I asked if any of you had visited a town with an existing data center. The answer was no. Now, months later, data centers have become a volatile, hot topic everywhere, not just Virginia. So, can you prove to us that Solus Arc is a legitimate company? Can you prove that they will protect the surrounding environment? Can you prove that Solus Arc is going to use a closed loop? And can any of you even tell me right now what a closed loop is? Can you prove about the water usage? And just like Andy says, the water for our environment is in tremendous, dire straits right now. And if you look at these stories on the local news, you will see. Check into Bedford County and what Google's trying to do there to take 8 million gallons of water a day out of Carvin's Cove, who is already low because of droughts. So these are questions that you guys should be able to answer us by now. We've been asking question after question after question for months. So you either don't have the answers or maybe you're hiding something from us. There's a quote I came across as I was writing this, and it said, "You can knock on a deaf man's door forever." Well, we're tired of knocking.
Thank you, Ms. Beamer. Next on the list is Dee Ennis.
Well, here I go again, changing the subject. Hi, I'm going to read an article that was written about an event that happened on Saturday by a soldier. A man walked toward the President of the United States with 2 firearms and the intent to kill him. He was the 3rd such man in 2 years. In the wake of it, senior federal officials stepped to the microphones and told the country that the rhetoric of ordinary Americans on social media is somehow part of the cause. This is misdirection, and the soldier in me recognizes the maneuver immediately. The American people are being told to look at each other when they should be looking at the institutions that allowed this to happen. In the military, when an operation fails, the after-action review is brutally honest. Commanders are named, decisions are scrutinized, and the chain of responsibility is traced from the point of failure back to the desk where the bad call was made. Nobody is permitted to walk away by gesturing at the broader culture and calling it everyone's fault. In government, when something goes catastrophically wrong, the first move is to expand the circle of blame until the actual decision makers are invisible inside of it. For example, Butler, the first attempted assassination, a rooftop that the Secret Service did not secure, a communications failure between agencies that should have not been possible in the year 2024. Americans were told it was complicated. We were told there would be a review. We were told changes would be made, but then it happened again in Florida and again this weekend. 3 serious attempts on the life of a sitting or former president in less than 2 years, and not one senior official has been fired, demoted, or publicly held to account. That is an accountability problem, and the American people could see it clearly even when those in the marble buildings refused to. Well, there's a whole lot more I'm not going to read. I'm going to get to the point here. what every American citizen must do this week. First, demand names. When a senior official tells you that everyone is responsible for what happened this weekend, do not accept it. Ask publicly, loudly, and repeatedly, who was in charge of the security perimeter, who signed off on it, and what is happening to that person now. Accountability begins with refusing to let the question be changed. And my husband's going to speak next, but go ahead.
I yield my time. Go ahead and finish.
Thank you. Accountability begins with refusing to let the question be changed. Second, contact your 2 U.S. senators and your representative this week and demand a public statement on whether they support a full named public after-action review of every senior official involved in the security failures of the last 2 years, on the record, in writing. Third, do not surrender your voice. Refuse the framing that ordinary American criticism of powerful officials contributes to violence. The greatest defense against an unaccountable government is a citizenry that will not be shamed into silence by it. And by the way, this was written by General Michael Flynn on April 28th, entitled "The Permanent Unaccountable Class." Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have is Catherine Clemens.
Hello. I just came up here to speak to you all on my own behalf and on the behalf of many others here in Wythe County, to speak up against the plague of data centers that a lot of small rural communities in our nation have seen. I just wanted to say how disappointing it is to stand here in front of you all today and to have to plead for Wythe County to not participate in this trend. It's a shame that the people, you all, that we have put into place to protect Wythe County and its citizens, and of course you guys have sold us out to a huge corporation that will eventually, yes, in turn destroy our beautiful Appalachia. With all the negative and proven impacts that data centers have had on small communities, and yet you still decide that it's a good idea to continue with this project. Very disappointing, okay? Board of Supervisors, do better. Do better for your community. Do better for the young people that want to stay here in Wytheville and not have every resource in our land wiped from us, okay? Do better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all we have signed up for citizens' time, and I will close citizens' time. And next on the agenda is public hearing for VDOT secondary 6-year plan. And I'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll read the public hearing notice first. Virginia Department of Transportation and the Board of Supervisors of Wythe County, in accordance with Section 33.2, 331 of the Code of Virginia, will conduct a joint public hearing in the boardroom of the Wythe County Administration Building, 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia, 24382 at 6:05 p.m. on April 28, 2026. Purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comment on the proposed secondary 6-year plan for fiscal years 26-27 through 2031-32 in Wythe County, and on secondary system construction budget for fiscal year 26-27. Copies of the proposed plan and budget may be reviewed at Wytheville Residency Office of VDOT, located at 2843 Chapman Road, Wytheville, Virginia, or at Wythe County offices located at 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. All projects in the secondary 6-year plan that are eligible for federal funds will be included in the statewide Transportation Improvement Program, which documents how Virginia will obligate transportation funds. Persons requiring special assistance to attend and participate in the hearing should contact the Virginia Department of Transportation at 276-228-2154. Persons wishing to speak at this public hearing should contact the Wythe County Board of Supervisors at 276-223-4500. And Mr. Chairman, I will add that James Schwartz and Mark Williams from VDOT are here with us today. The 6-year plan as drafted that is presented to you for consideration at this time currently adds the 4 additional roads to that plan. The first road is Olive Branch of 0.8 miles. The second is titled Crawfish Number 2. This extends 1.35 miles from the bridge, AKA Harry Joe Yates's house. The next is Fox Den Road that extends 0.75 miles to the dead end. And the last is Zion Church Road from 670 to 672, which is a distance of 0.31 miles.
Okay, first on the list is Chelsea and Michael Claire? Carter? Okay.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. We just wanted to come out and say that we support furthering with the paving of Crawfish Road. We have property out there and look forward to being able to access it more easily. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Ted, and I'm going to murder this, I know. Canazozzi?
That was pretty good. Canarazi.
Canarazi.
That was good. Yeah, we're not here to fight or anything or argue or anything. We're all here today. We were here last year at the when VDOT for the planning meeting when you appropriated funds toward Crawfish Road, which is one of the last, I believe, unimproved roads that come off of Route 680, which also cuts through. It's not just a dead end or anything like that. And there are numerous people who live there. And it's quite treacherous, actually. It's very hilly and everything. And it washes out when they put gravel in and things like that. It also can't handle all the large traffic that comes through there. You know, there's a lot of farm machinery and, you know, just all kinds of stuff like that. Plus, there are countless people who go into the national forest there. You know, it's a few miles, then you hit the national forest. There are campers, fishermen, tourists, you know, cyclists, hikers, all of this stuff, which creates this huge dust cloud, which also is pretty unhealthy also. Last year, the board gave us the impression that in this year's budget, they could appropriate more funds because last year, apparently, they appropriated about $155,000 toward this project. And that's about 3/4 of the way to get phase 1 done or something like that. And I guess our major question is if the board intends to appropriate the rest of the funds needed to get at least, you know, the first phase done in this, which is the most hilly and treacherous area, and, you know, hopefully getting it done to the, you know, the state forest line. Again, we have many people here, right? Raise your hands if you're, yeah. There's a lot of people who couldn't make it, but these are just some of the people who are your constituents, and, you know, we just want to let you know that, you know, we've been waiting. We were on the 6-year plan 20 years ago, apparently, but that somehow went away, but we don't want to get into that. Anyway, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
list is Harry Joe Yates.
My name's Harry Joe Yates, and I've been coming down here for quite a few years. Well, I was here the last time, I think, 25 years ago, doing this same thing. And you know, if you're going to get something done, it needs to be done quicker than that, at least looked at. We don't even get a look. And we spend time coming down here, and we pay taxes. And we'd like to get it fixed. And there's more people moving in there. And we have, just like Ted said, we have lots of people going in and hunting and fishing. I mean, it's just a little ways till they can get on National Forest. And if we could get that road fixed up to the National Forest, at least it'd help a lot. That's about 2 miles. But anyway, I'd like to. I'm 68 years old now, and I'd like to see it. But I'd like to see it done a little quicker. But I'm actually older than that. Thank you. Try to see if you can do something.
Mr. Yates. Next on the list is Craig Hammond.
Good evening. Craig Hammond. I'm a landowner on Crawfish Road and have a farm. Have a residence there, live there part-time sometimes, from time to time. And anyway, yeah, I'm just want to say that I am in favor of getting this road completed at some point. I'm in the cattle business. We have a lot of trailers going in and out, and at times it gets a little rough in the wintertime. It gets muddy, and and the potholes transporting the cattle in and out. But what I would like to maybe be part of a resolution that we could come together, not tonight. I know it takes time for on everybody's part, including James here, Mr. Swartz, to come up with a resolution that that the residents can live can live with, and that we will know when this could take place. I've heard about the 6-year plan. Everybody's heard about the 6-year plan. Do we really know what the 6-year plan is? We would like to know that, and I've got some figures in mind that what it takes to fund this road from Black Lick back past almost the National Forest or up past my driveway, 1097. But I've got some ideas what it would cost, and if we could just some of the board members take time to go back and see what the maintenance cost every year, to see and I don't know where this funding comes from maintenance. I don't know if it's a state, it comes from the county. I just don't know that. But if we could just look into that and compare what it's costing as far as the maintenance goes and what it's going to take to put in this new road, when you take in this 6-year plan, if you take a little bit of money and put it towards this project, I think if these things could be worked out, it's probably not as would cost the county or the state as much money as what everybody thinks. And me as a landowner there, in and out a lot, I'm thinking I could maybe even come up with some money to put into this project. I'm not going to say how much, but in some of the other, I have no idea what they may propose, but over time, this is a small amount of money we're dealing with over 5 years. So I think if we could just, Mr. Martin, he's our rep, our supervisor down there. Maybe he could put together and spend some extra time, which he don't have any extra time. I know what he does. But anyway, and kind of, and come up with a resolution on this project that we could all work with, instead of just coming back next year and talking about the same thing. Let's see if we can get together and put our heads together and come up with a plan, hopefully. So, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Mr. Barry, do we want to let VDOT speak now, or should we vote on these resolutions?
You could let VDOT speak if they have anything they want to comment on. Now, I will make two comments, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, just answering some questions. Ted, and I won't pronounce the last name.
He wants to go up.
Oh, okay. I was like, you are correct. Last year, there was a shortage of funding on Crawfish Valley Road.
Yes, sir.
That was the first funds that went in this year, and then the balance is what was left, is what the board is addressing the other 4 roads off on. So, James, if you want to come up and speak on that.
Yeah, could you roll that up maybe? So, to that first section of Crawfish. Is that the first one? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, so good evening. So just to bounce back and I'll address some of this. So I used to say, I mean, it is a 6-year plan. It used to seem like the 60-year plan. So I can relate to what folks are saying. So in 2009, they completely erased the plan because it was taking longer than normal or longer than 6 years to build the roads. So in 2009, they erased everything on the plan. They went back and they rebuilt the plans, and now you can no longer add, you can only add 1 road a year that's not fully funded. So it's made it more of a true 6-year plan. We are able to build these within the 6 years, and it's keeping the plan on schedule. Whereas, 25 years ago, that was not the case. So that has been fixed for the most part. Now, I will say, Mr. Bayer is right. So that first section of Crawfish was added last year. I think it's 0.8 miles. And so it received that funding this year, and it will be fully funded in July of 2031. So
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in July of 2031 would be when you would see construction start. I mean, that's when we could start construction on that project. So if you add the other section that it's proposed, if we add that this year, then that will be, it'll be fully funded in FY '32, which again would be July of '31. So you could potentially, both of those projects would be fully funded in July of 2031, and that's when construction could begin on those. Now, the only way, and I hear folks say if we add additional funding, and the only way to make any changes would to be change the priority of your plan. If you wanted to push it up and change, so what that would mean is you're pushing other projects that's already on the plan into other out years. So, I guess, is there any questions as far as Crawfish goes? So, I'll just kind of give a plan update real quick. So currently we have 4 projects that are under construction right now. That would be Route 600 Sherrits Road, Route 625 Gap of the Ridge, Route 646 Sheffytown Road, and Route 712 Millers Creek Road. I think all those have seen some type of construction on them. To date, we're just really starting to get geared up and starting to work on those. And hopefully we'll get those finished pretty soon. We have several projects that are right now in the engineering phase. Those would be Connors Valley Road, Gap of the Ridge, Bluebird Road, Poplar Drive, Riverview Road, Edgewood Road, and Scenic Trail. So when I say that they're in the engineering phase, that would mean that they are We're currently working on our straight line diagram, where we go out and identify pipe and things that need to be replaced and the ditch work. And then we'll do a drainage review and submit those for an environmental permits. So just kind of bouncing back to what I said, all the projects now on the plan are fully funded through FY31, and that's because that crawfish, that first section of crawfish was funded with this year's allocation to take care of that. And then we actually had, so for this year, the FY32 funding, we actually had $141,299 in funds left over from projects that came in under budget. So those were able to be, that funding is able to be allocated for projects this year.
Go for it.
Yeah. So you also received $65,783 for tele-fee funding, and that funding comes from communication lines that are within the right-of-way. And then there was $824,596 for unpaid road funding. That gave a total for this year's plan to be $1,031,678 to add those additional roads.
I do have a question on the Crawfish Road, and you may not be able to answer this tonight. What, in a 12-month period, what do you think the maintenance cost? And like I said, I don't expect you to spit a number out tonight, but I would be curious if you could get there for me.
Yeah, I can try to give you something. I can probably, and being where it's a gravel road, those conditions change. So one year we may have had to put more gravel or more dust control, but I can give you a general idea of what that is.
Just a ballpark.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. I wouldn't have that just programmed here anywhere, but yeah, I can do that.
And I think two things are important to note and just to make sure everybody understands. Once you are on the plan, you're on the plan. You don't come off. Short of 2009, and that was going to be my comment, 2009, there was a list of 20 roads on the plan, but there wasn't enough money to fund all those, and VDOT, the state, made us change all that. Since that time frame, the 6-year plan has been a pretty true 6-year plan. And when you get added, the roads that get added this year, they get added at the end of the 6-year plan. So that's why they're 2032. When you all got added last year, that's 2031. I just went back and pulled up the 2022 plan just to look at it. It had Brushy Mountain Road been funded in 25-26. I think you said it's finished construction. It had Sherritt's Road in there as 25-26. You've got it under construction.
It's under construction. I will say the hurricane put us, it knocked us back. So
but they were on the plans and the time frame, and so it is very good. So basically, you talk about coming back each year. You're welcome to come back. You're welcome to come back every year we have this. But basically, once you're on the plan, you keep moving up each year on the priority list because other ones get done. But you don't come off the plan. It would take a vote of the Board of Supervisors to take any road off of the plan. So it is on there. All the roads are on there in the priority order that they're in.
any other questions?
More questions? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
A question I would have, am I correct when I say it's gonna cost $155,000 to build this road from the Blacktop to Harry Joe's Bridge? Is that correct? The $155,000?
Can you scroll up to that first? So it's showing that it is,
it's free?
yeah, 333.
If you would like, why don't you and I set up a meeting? Mr. Martin mentioned to me that you talked about ways of speeding it up. They have revenue sharing programs where the residents can apply for revenue sharing, and the residents put up half the money, and they put up half the money, and things could be done quicker than 2031 if that is an interest of you all. But why don't we set up a meeting with you and James and I, and we'll go through that.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yep.
Could I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Chairman.
I'm sorry.
We've had the public hearing comments,
All
so
right. Well,
that's,
I-
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody up here? Anything else? I will close the public meeting. And all the board members have 6 resolutions up here. Gap of the Ridge Road, Sheffy Town Road, Olive Branch Road, Crawfish Road, Fox Den Road, Zion Church Road. Do I hear a motion that we approve these resolutions?
So moved. Second.
Any other questions? All right, we'll start with Mr. Burnett.
Aye.
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 So resolutions pass.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask for a motion to approve the 6-year plan as presented. And do we need to approve the secondary construction budget also in the process, in that motion, or just, okay. I would ask for a motion to approve the secondary 6-year plans for fiscal years 26-27 through 2031-32, and the secondary system construction budget for fiscal year 26-27.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Start with,
Aye.
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 Motion approved. All right. The next agenda item is payment of invoices. We have a motion and a second to pay the invoices. Mr. Burnett?
Aye.
All right, so bills have been paid.
We lose.
You also have on your, in your packet, the minutes of the previous meeting. Does anybody have a motion?
Second.
All right. Anybody want to make any changes? All right.
I'll abstain because I was absent, sir.
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, old business. We have appointments.
Yes,
Russ Beamer appointed for the West Wellsville Rec Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there, anybody have any questions or comments? All right, Mr. Burnett?
Aye.
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 All right. Does anybody else have any,
I would like to nominate Lamar Kyle for the rec committee for East Woodville. Two authors.
okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor, or Mr. Burnett?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I have, just to let you know, I have reached out to Raymond Matney to see if he is still interested in serving. He said he enjoys working with that group, and he is. He is having some health concerns right now. He said if the board's interested in somebody else, it's fine, but I just want to let you know he is interested in serving. We don't have to appoint these other, we just wanted to go ahead and get them out there. The Social Services Board does have Ms. Julie Tucker Lloyd that we just put on last year that's eligible for reappointment by June 30th. And then Mr. Smith is currently on there, but I think he has been talking about possibly some changes on that, so I would recommend waiting on that until he returns. And then the college, we just put on there, we put the information in your board package last week, or last meeting, just letting you know the vacancies there. So we will just keep these on the agenda for whenever y'all want to take any action.
I've got a nomination for the Community College Board, if we can do that now.
Certainly.
I'd like to recommend Johnny Kincher for the Wytheville Community College Board.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? All right. I forget which one I started with. Let's go with you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Correction.
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Correct, on the back here, you've got Rec Commission, Fort Chiswell, Haley Gold, Moorhead. She was West Wytheville. She resigned from West Wytheville. She still
Okay.
lives in West Wytheville. Okay, but just,
Thank you.
like I said, she needs to be. I don't know who's at Fort Chiswell, but it's not Haley. She's Beamer's replacing her.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, next item is new business, the consent calendar.
Make a motion, we approve the consent calendar, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any questions, comments? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Terry?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, motion carries. Consent calendar is approved. The next item is the fiscal year 27 draft budget review. Mr. Barrett.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, at the end of your agenda, I have requested that you all recess for a work session next week to discuss the budget a little more. Mr. Hankins and I, neither one, are holding out hope that the General Assembly will have information to us at that time. But been talking with the other counties around us, and we're all struggling with how we are going to move forward with our best guesses of estimates from the state. And this may be a year, it may be the end of June before they adopt a budget. But I won't read the entire memo to you, just a few highlights of where we currently stand. We have a non-water sewer budget, expenditure budget of $107.9 million against an estimated revenue budget of $103.4 million. So we're basically about $4.5 million short on our revenue right now. A couple highlights I put on there is schools. Their budget only increased $744,000 last year, but due to changes in the deposit index and loss of state funding, the school is requesting $2.5 million additional funds towards their operating budget. That's an increase from $16.2 million to $18.7 million. The state required local share that we have to provide is $15.6 million. This year, just like I said, we provided $16.2 million. So basically, over the last 2 years, adding both of those together, our increases, we've given $4.2 million. We will have given $4.2 million more to the school. I included a chart just showing a breakdown over the years where the school operational funding held fairly steady, but has greatly increased the last 2 years. And as you all know, we have not had any tax changes since 2023. On the county side of it, the draft budget has removed 2 new full-time positions requested by county staff. We've left in there for current discussion 2 full-time courtroom security positions by the sheriff. We do have some additional funding for some part-time personnel and emergency services in those areas. The sheriff has agreed, has offered to use some of his photo fine enforcement money, which legislation passed this year that restricted the use of that funds for certain items. He's offered to use that for the Fort Chiswell crosswalk project, which will save us on the general fund. He's offered to look at purchase of vehicles out of that, and then also some speed enforcement overtime. So that's about $600,000 out of that. We may, have discussions of how else we can use that under the guidelines that the General Assembly has approved. I don't know if the governor signed all that yet or not. Capital expenses in the county are not as large as last year. We've cut out most of the large ones. We have some $350,000 for total for all vehicles. We have some turnout gear, some fire for vehicles, turnout gear and fire equipment. $150,000 from HVAC repairs. A big cost we've got this year is the reassessment cost at $250,000 and $150,000 for parks and staff, parks and recreation improvements, and $45,000 for an engineering staff vehicle. Revenues, I just hit that basically all of our main revenues, personal property, real estate, machinery and tools, all of those, state sales tax, meals and lodging, those are basically flat. The report that Adam has presented to us previously shows no change in the 25 year. We don't see a lot into the 26 year in the process. The main increases are the photo enforcement fines. We expect about $3.8 million more to come in from that than what we had last year, but the uses of that are restricted. We've got more money coming in from the Regional Improvement Commission, which is the casino, coming in that we've been putting towards our emergency services side of the budget. So the shortfall, and I put information out there. Our real estate tax is at 51 cents and our personal property at $2.22, and have been that since 2023. Each 1 cent of real estate tax equates to approximately $275,000. Each 1 cent of personal property equates to about $43,000. So there's adequate reserves that we have in the budget this year to cover our expected shortfall. We're hopeful that the state puts more money into the school systems that would help with some of the shortfall that we're seeing out of this year's budget. But if we had to cover the school increase just out of a tax rate increase, that's 9 cents of real estate tax. If we had to cover the entire budget shortfall out of a tax increase, that's a 16-cent tax increase. So I just put those numbers out there just to let you know it is a substantial shortfall we're looking at. We've got the money to cover that now, but in the long term, you don't want to be continually in that situation. And then I just put the future years and some projects out there. As we all know, the Spiller Elementary School replacement project is sitting out there, and it's a little less than $40 million, but the debt service over that, over a 20-year period, which is typically what we've been borrowing funds for all of our school systems, that comes out to about $2.8 million a year estimated. To put that in perspective, $2.8 million is the current debt service that we are paying on the school systems as it is. And we still have Fort Chisholm High School and Fort Chisholm Middle School coming behind that. So that's why we've got Davenport looking at this 1 cent local sales tax off referendum that would go to the voters to look at in the process. So that has been looked at because, it would take a substantial tax increase of about 10 cents just to fund the school construction if we had to fund that out of local funds. And obviously, the data center project is anticipated to bring in additional revenue. We've announced $10 million when we announced the project. It's that revenue, which is primarily business personal property taxes, will certainly help cover some of our shortfalls going forward. So the summary is just there's a substantial gap this year in our revenue and our expenditures. Don't think that everything we get from the state is going to help cover all of that, but we will. I'd like to have a work session next week just to discuss a little bit more of where we are. Talk about when to set a public hearing and when to look at adopting the full budget. And that's all I've got on that, sir. It's just informational at this time.
Okay.
May 5th is not a good date for me. That's previous plan. Changes, that'd be great. If not,
Yeah.
I won't be here.
I know Monday is the planning commission meeting, so Monday does not work for us to do it on Monday.
I'm good any day, but Tuesday.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that here in a minute. sell it now.
If you want to wait till the end of the meeting, and when you're trying to decide a date to recess, you can do it at that time, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, next on the agenda is staff reports. Deputy County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The first one, I like it when I get to bring projects across the finish line. This codification project has been going on for close to 3 years, I believe, Martha. We've been trying to clean up your code, get it organized. If you or residents of the community or folks from outside the community want to see our code, they currently go to our website and they have to find the particular PDF that has the code section that they're looking for. It's not an organized, structured code. So the board set aside funding several years ago to go through this. We hired Municode, which is a division of Civic Plus, which also does our website. They do municipal codes for something like 3/4 of the Commonwealth of Virginia. They have assigned an attorney to us, me, Martha, Leanne Nestor, and County Administration Office have gone pretty meticulously through it. We are not changing the code, except there are some updated code references. There's some outdated language. We've restructured the way that the fee structure is handled, and a few other changes. It doesn't change the meaning of any of the terms that have been adopted by the board. It just allows us to structure a code that will then be easily searchable on the website. It'll be easily accessible. It'll be added to the Municode library. So it will be a lot easier to access for the residents of Wythe County. In order to adopt the code, I've got a draft resolution in my memorandum that details what you would have to adopt. It's, I think, a 7-point adoption. Basically, you are amending and reenacting your code in this new structured sort of way. Once you adopt it, we get we get printed copies, so those will go in this office, they'll go to the courts, they'll go to the sheriff's office, the offices that need access to the printed county code. So we'll have that as a reference, and then as we make updates, we'll be able to amend those paper copies and amend the online ordinances. So we'll have some annual maintenance going forward, but it'll keep our code up to date and well organized. In order to adopt it, staff ask that you consider setting a public hearing for Tuesday, May 26th, to amend and reenact the county code. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have about that.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments?
And this is just to make it easier to reference and to find a specific.
Yes, sir. It gives a structure to the code that is now unstructured. So it'll be a lot easier to find references. It'll be searchable. It's a searchable database. So, if folks are looking for a particular local ordinance, they'll be able just to search for that term and find the relevant code. It will make it considerably easier for staff as well.
Okay, any more questions? All right, we'll start with Mr. Burnett.
Aye.
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 Thank you. In keeping up with tonight's theme of taking more of your evenings going forward, we do need to set our next zoning meeting. You've completed the second community conversation. We've met at Fort Chisholm High School. We met at Rural Retreat High School last week. We've engaged with approximately 250 interested members of the public, including the 26 who attended last week. So staff request your input on a meeting date, location, and format for the meeting in Wythe. Staff suggests Monday, May the 11th as the date, either at this meeting room or at George Wythe High School, using the same community conversation format that we've been using. If you have other avenues that you'd like for us to pursue, please let us know and provide guidance on how we need to proceed with our next zoning meeting.
Do we need to decide this now? Or
In order for us to secure the space and advertise it, we need to know fairly soon if you intend for us to do it in May. I know May gets busy the later we get with graduations and starting the vacations and the holidays. So if we can set one now, that'd be helpful. If
Have you
not,
checked with George Wythe? Is George Wythe good with the 11th?
We've not checked with them. If you wanted to meet at George Wythe, we'll check with them just to make sure it's available.
I think the high school's a better location.
Oh, I do too. But I hate to set a date and then they not be available.
If not the high school, then possibly the middle school. We'll try to get space either way.
Okay.
Okay. So we want to tentatively say the 11th?
Yes.
Is that
That's
correct?
fine.
I'm good with that.
That's good.
We've been starting those at 6 o'clock. Does that suit you all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did want to give some recognition to Ms. Parsons and her staff in 911. Our new computer-assisted dispatching system is up and running. A few minor hiccups and headaches as we got into it, but most of those have been addressed. We still got a few computers that need to have access added, a few modules to resolve, and final billing to work out with the vendor. But it has worked out pretty well. The reviews that I've heard so far are pretty good. It seems to be a pretty straightforward system, and I know in monitoring on my phone, it certainly seems to provide me with information faster. So I'm happy with that. I think it was a good investment, and we'll try to make sure that shows going forward. Did want to ask if the board wishes to make any changes to the outdoor burn ban. The Drought Monitoring Center for Virginia is keeping an eye on where we are. We have not received sustained precipitation in a while. We're going to need some sustained precipitation over an extended period of time to help us recover from the precipitation deficit that we're in. I know a lot of farmers, though, are eager to burn off some brush and be able to plant fairly soon. We've had some calls. We've had a fair number of folks defying the burn ban and just burning anyway. That can result in charges. It hasn't yet, but it can. I don't know what you're hearing. If you feel like there's a need to change, staff would prefer that we maintain our current status just because of where we are, even though we're expected to get some rain over the next few days. It's probably not going to be enough to help manage our deficit.
From my perspective, I'd say we just stay with status quo. If it's a situation that somebody needs to get something burned off, then of course reach out to the appropriate authorities and make sure somebody's is prepared.
Anything else?
Did want to mention, you'll talk about Liberty at the Lake a little bit later, but we have received quite a few external donors, some individuals and companies that wanted to support the festival at the lakes. We're grateful for that. We are opening the campground this weekend. May the 1st is our opening weekend, and we do have some folks that are staying this weekend. Then the pool will open on May 15th. We've got some cool weather coming up over the next few days, but hopefully we'll warm up enough to start letting folks swim in the middle of May.
All the campsites booked already?
They are almost all booked for July 4th. We are seeing strong interest in Memorial Day and Labor Day. Those are pretty good holidays. I think we're running at about 29% of what we did last year total, and that's before a lot of folks start making their camping plans. We do anticipate that we're going to see pretty steady interest this summer, particularly if fuel prices stay higher. Typically, when fuel prices go higher, people are looking for less expensive ways to travel, and camping certainly provides that as an outlet. And we've seen strong interest before when we experience spikes in fuel prices. So, the goal is to exceed the last few years' average, and I think we're in a position to do that. The new booking system that you all authorize us to use, that's certainly streamlined the process, made it easier for campers to secure their spaces.
So you still have slots open for Memorial Day?
We do.
That's strange. Normally that pretty well booked up, isn't it?
We usually see pretty strong interest. The recreation director sent me an update today. We're at 50% for Memorial Day as of today. We only have 7 tent spots left for July 4th. We've got 5 pool parties already booked, 15 shelter reservations. So we're already seeing good all-around interest.
I was gonna say, I know a couple people that camp out there, and they're like, you can't get in at all out there if they were booked. Of course, they're not tent campers either, so.
Right. We do have a few more RV sites than we had last year. Buildings and Grounds, Landon Sayers has done a really good job working with the rec department. They've added a few RV spots and got things nice and level for those RVs to be able to use. We do have increased capacity this year, and we're almost at 30% of what we did in total money earned last year, and that's really before we open. That's a good start. And I don't have anything else, Mr. Chair, unless the board has questions.
Thank you. County Administrator.
Yeah, just a couple of items. A month or so ago, the chair and vice chair met with mayor and vice mayor of Wytheville. One of the things they would like to do is start having the joint governing bodies meetings again. I guess the clerk from Wytheville has pulled out our minutes from our last one, and don't remember, Martha, was it 21 or 22 or? It's been a while since we've had one. I would request that you all go ahead and approve us adding to the calendar a joint governing bodies meeting for June 29th at the Wytheville Meeting Center at 6 p.m.
That's fine, Mr. Barry, but I'm gone that week, so I won't be there.
What we've typically done in the past, we've had them on 5th Mondays because nobody has anything regularly scheduled on a 5th Monday. So that's the first 5th Monday. We're looking at 2 other ones possibly later this year to see if they work in the schedule also.
What time?
6 p.m.
And the Wytheville Meeting Center, the correct locations for hosting?
Yes, Wytheville Meeting Center, yes. They offered it, so we will take them up on it.
Okay.
I would ask for a motion just to establish that date for that joint governing bodies meeting.
Second.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Don't need a roll call. You can just say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
The next is a very long governmental 457B plan adoption agreement. Basically, Wythe County, since about 2001, has offered a 457B plan to its employees. For lack of better terms, it's the government equivalent of 401K plan or a 403B plan that teachers have. With the Secure Act 2.0 changes, we needed to update the plan. A few months ago, you all authorized a payment, an agreement for them to send the plan, to update the plan. This is the adoption agreement. I have reviewed it and discussed it with them. I would request that the board approve the governmental 457B plan adoption.
So moved.
Second. All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll start with Mr. Burnett.
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
And the next item I had was to adopt the revised budget calendar, but Martha, I do not see it. 263. What this does is, we originally had said we would have the public hearing on May 12th, that's the correct date, May 12th. This moves the public hearing date to May 26th. And then May 27th, if needed, review the comments and then adopt the tax levy at our June 9th meeting. And I would just ask for a motion to approve the amended budget calendar.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All right, Mr. Terry?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
And the rest that's in my package is just informational. VDOT does have a 6-year input meeting coming up at 4 p.m. next Thursday, May 7th. I know last year, I believe Mr. Morgan and I went down there. If anyone is interested in attending, let me know, and we can leave from here and go down there. And other than that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Okay. County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything to report this evening.
All right, next item is budget reports, budget committee.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Budget Committee met on April 21st, 2026, and makes the following recommendations. First item, Land Ministries funding request. Amend and appropriate $4,500 to 1101-457-015 to fund a donation of the Land Ministries for the Mission of Mercy free dental event in June.
Any questions? Do we need to do a roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
It's coming from committee, so it does not require a
Committee,
motion.
I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So it doesn't need a second. All right.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Motion carries.
Next item, 4th of July budget, amend and appropriate $50,000 along with $9,000 in donations to 7109-457-028.
All right, coming from committee, doesn't need a second. Mr. Terry?
Aye.
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 No.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Third item, change in status for the rec department staff. We'll be reclassifying full-time rec assistant positions as overtime exempt and provide a one-step salary increase for both of those assistants. Effective date would be March the 1st of 2026.
Okay, coming from committee, doesn't need a second. Any other questions?
Mr. Terry, if I could, it's May 1st. I made the same mistake in Budget Committee.
Oh, so.
You said March 1st. It's May 1st.
Sorry, May 1st. I apologize. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Burnett?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
The fourth item is RFC audit agreement. Approve the audit agreement with the RFC.
Coming from committee, doesn't need a second. Any questions? All right, Mr. Burnett?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
And the last item from Budget Committee is the VRA loan. This is the sewer upgrades at Jackson Elementary School. Approve the VRA loan agreement for sewer upgrades at Jackson Memorial Elementary School, if I can talk.
Again, coming from committee, doesn't need a second. Any questions? Comments? Mr. Terry?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
And that's all I've got from the Budget Committee, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Board of Supervisors time. We'll start with you, Mr. Terry.
Nothing at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing at this time, sir.
Nothing at this time.
Wow.
I was just gonna ask when the next meeting was gonna be, and we've already covered that, so. Thank you.
Mr. Burnett?
I just wanted to make a point to anybody watching that VDOT still doesn't adopt a highway program, and that if you clean a section of road twice a year for 3 years, they'll put up a sign stating your organization. This was driven by several residents asking me about road cleanup and things like that, and I just wanted to look at different avenues since we were not able to get the prisoners like we used to for road cleanup. And I thought it'd be a good time to let church organizations and other civic organizations know that they can adopt sections of highway. And that's, yeah, all I had, Vice Chairman.
Okay. I don't have anything at this time. Anybody else?
Yeah, we need to discuss the May meeting, May 5th.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The, yeah, May 5th was just put up, we had Buildings and Grounds and Water and Wastewater Committee that afternoon. So I had just recommended that we would meet after that while three of you all were here. When I sent the email last week, Mr. Smith had replied that Tuesday worked best for him. I just sent him a message. He would prefer to have it on Tuesday. He'd rather not have it on Wednesday, but if it is, be done by 6 p.m. So if we can start earlier on Wednesday, we could do that. So however you all want to do it.
I'm good any day but Tuesday. I'm good any day but Tuesday.
Wednesday's not great for me, or Thursday, but
What date? Monday's good for you?
Monday's good for me.
Well, Monday's a planning commission meeting in here, so you'll be at the planning commission meeting that night. Matt will be at the planning commission meeting. I'd rather not do it Monday if at all possible.
What time's planning commission meeting?
6 o'clock.
So,
Can we do it before 6? Be done by 6
on Monday?
on Monday?
I'm good with it, I don't know.
I can make any of those 3 days work.
I could do a Monday easier than I could the other 2 days.
Okay.
I can make Monday work. Mondays are kind of long for me from a work perspective, so I can't get it. It'd probably be 4:15, 4:30 best case before I can come.
Monday, okay?
We can try Monday, and I know you may be able, you want us to wait till then, you want to do it at 4 o'clock, what time works best?
Would y'all wait to 4:15? I think I can get here by 4:15 on Monday. Is that okay with everybody? Can we do that?
Okay with everybody? 4:15 on Monday, May the 4th?
Yep.
This is our budget meeting. Right?
Budget work session, yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we?
Recess.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. If that's the case, we will recess until Monday, May the 4th at 4:15. Okay? Very good. We're in recess.